The cost of building an app is 99% labor. So that means that what you'll pay is a function of the quantity of labor required to build your app multiplied by the price of the labor that you need. This gives you two primary controls over price. What are you building and who will you hire to build it? In part one today, we're going to look at how to be efficient with what you build. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to be efficient with who you hire. Let's start with the what. Tip 1. Know when to start. One of the simplest ways to spend efficiently is not starting the build until you're ready. There are usually cheaper ways to validate your ideas than building a whole app, so taking more time to really understand the problem that you're trying to solve, running your proposed solution by people that you trust, building prototypes that fake the functionality for people to try out. These are good ways to make sure that when it comes time to build, you have a clear idea of where you're headed. Tip 2, stay focused. If you're trying to keep costs low, it's important to stay really focused on what you're trying to achieve and validate those ideas early. There are two sides to this discipline. One is that when you're halfway through a project, you should resist the urge to add to the work. If everything was finished other than your shiny new idea, would you delay the launch? And if the answer to that is no, then stay focused, do it later. Tip 3, don't reinvent the wheel. In past videos, we've looked at software projects as a tower of blocks, with each block being something that your engineers have to build, aiming towards a target in the sky. But here's a trick. All over the internet, there are blocks of software that other people have written that you can use for free. You don't have to write a payment system or even a credit card entry form anymore. It's a choice these days to write a login process when big companies have ones that you can just take off the shelf with minimal work involved. Because there are so many blocks out there in the world, what you spend is more a function of the amount of custom, bespoke engineering work you do, and it's less correlated with the quantity of code or functionality that exists in the app. There's a slight caveat in that you have to glue those pieces together, but that's generally true. What this means is don't be scared of functionality that feels complex so long as it can be found elsewhere. For example, imagine a ride-sharing app where a passenger pays a fee and your company takes a cut before paying the driver. These days, managing those payments and commissions and payouts isn't that hard unless you need to tweak it in some uncommon way. Maybe your ride-sharing app is only for cross-border ride-sharing and needs to support multiple currencies. If there's not a multi-currency marketplace service available to you, well, now you have to build it. And now you've gone from 80 hours or so of time implementing an existing system to a $1 million project building a marketplace system from scratch. And obviously, inefficiencies exist like this on smaller scales too. So control your costs by using those pre-made blocks when you can, and only build custom functionality when there's a clear reason why it's going to elevate your business. Okay, now, if you're a non-technical founder, you might be wondering how you can even make these distinctions. And it is mostly up to your engineers to make the call about the quality of existing third-party code and whether it fits your needs. So here's a trick. Keep your needs as high level and general as you can, and when you express what you want from your apps team, make sure they know where your priorities lie in terms of cost versus meeting your requirements precisely. And then ask them to seek out efficiencies that will reduce the labor involved, even if it means making small changes to what is being built. If they think they don't have any flexibility and everything has to be built in a very particular way, that's going to lead to a bunch of custom code. Tip 4, budget for after launch. Make sure you reserve some of your budget for post-launch. Once people start using the app, they're going to use it in ways no one expected. They're going to discover bugs, and there's going to be ongoing development costs that are inevitable. So don't spend all your production budget just getting to launch. Try to have at least 20% of your budget still available to handle post-launch issues. Okay, so to summarize. 1, know when to start. 2, stay focused. 3, optimize for minimal custom work. And 4, budget for after launch. In Keeping Costs Down Part 2, we're going to talk about controls you have over the cost of your team. There are 4 primary ways to manage that. Who works when, the technology choices that inform your engineering hires, the countries where your team members live, and the experience levels of your team. I will see you there. Hi, my name's Rich. I've been programming since the late 90s and building apps since 2009. I've led app development at successful startups, a couple of teams at Google, And in 2019, I left Google to start my own firm here in Half Moon Bay, California. I still love this work. If you are building something new or struggling with an app you already built, I would love to chat about it. Please reach out, and I hope you find these videos useful.